Fade out 1. Fade in 3.
Pizza Flix Television Division presents
No, Jim, please don't make me go down there.
Yes,
I don't
come on.
want to.
It'll do you good to go downstairs. Come on. That's it. Come on.
Jim, Jim, please don't let go of me, please. I'd like to make it, but my legs won't.
Yes, they will. Come on, try. Just a few steps. That's it.
Don't. Jim, please don't. The stairs are so steep, they make me nervous. I'm sorry, Fred. I can't. Take me back to my room, please.
All right.
Jim. Jim.
Yeah, what is it, honey?
Sorry to bother you. Would you mind taking the tray? I'm just not hungry.
Oh, of course. Shall I ask Cook to fix you something else before she leaves?
No, let the poor thing go. It's a day off tomorrow anyway.
You haven't eaten a thing. You've got to eat something. How about some eggs? Shall I ask her to scramble you some eggs?
Jim, please, I'm just not hungry. I suppose lying in bed most of the time doesn't help the appetite much. Now hurry and get ready if you're going out.
I think I'd better stay till Miss Rutherford gets back.
I told Cy to be here at 6:30. He thinks you should go.
I think I'd better stay here with you.
Rutherford will be here at 8. Besides, Jim, you haven't been anywhere in weeks. You need to get out. Could I have a cigarette, please? I don't particularly want to be left alone. Thanks, but what kind of a wife would I be if I didn't give you a little diversion once in a while? Besides, you're looking awfully tired and run down. Now go on, get dressed. Go on.
Emily, I'm not going.
Yes, you are. Now, Cy told me how important this dinner was for you, and after all, he should know he's your law partner. Oh, Jim, please, can't you try to understand how I feel being so helpless? Well, the least I can do is look after myself for a little while. Now, get me my book off the table and I'll be fine. Oh, and could you get me a little perfume? It'll help pep me up. Now, will you please hurry and get dressed? Oh, and could you take the tray down to the kitchen?
Well, good evening, waiter. Is the master home?
Come on inside. You're early. Why don't you go up and see Emily while I get rid of this?
All right.
Sure you'll be all right?
Yes, of course. I've told him that Rutherford will be here shortly.
Maybe I should phone him before I leave, huh?
No, please don't. Now, get out of here, both of you, and have fun.
See you later.
Oh, Jim, I'm sorry I forgot. But could you get my handkerchief off the table for me, please?
Anything else, honey?
No. Oh, dear. And would you close the door after you?
Well, we have time for a drink before the dinner. How about it?
Yeah, I could certainly use one.
Hello?
Mrs. Cameron, this is Jane Rutherford.
Oh, hello, Miss Rutherford. I'm so glad you called. Mr. Cameron has gone out for the evening, and I'm quite alone here in the house. Where are you?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but my car broke down. I don't see how I can possibly get there before 11 or so.
11 o'clock or so? Well, but surely they can fix your car before that.
They know I'm in a dreadful hurry.
But there isn't a soul in this house, and I'm utterly helpless. You know that. Well, all right. Tell them to do the best they can. Yes, yes, all right. Goodbye.
Hello?
Hello? Nadine, this is Emily.
Oh, Emily. I was just giving Fudgy his bath. Darling, are you sure you're dry enough?
Dear, I'm so glad I found you home. Thank heavens I have someone to talk to. Well, Jim has gone out for the evening, and I'm quite alone here in the house, and Cook has gone home, too. Now Miss Rutherford calls and tells me a wretched car has broken down.
Well, darling, I'm sorry you're alone, but after all, what can you expect? Men always leave you at the darndest times. As long as a woman keeps her looks, she...
What do you mean by that?
Darling, of course, I didn't mean to imply anything. You're still attractive.
But just become helpless. Yes, I see what you mean. Oh, Nadine, you're so lucky. You don't know how lucky you are. You can just get up and walk away from things. But I can't. Oh, but I'm so glad I have you to talk to. If I didn't, I don't know what I'd do. You really understand how it's been for me living with him.
Yes, dear. But I warned you, didn't I? In my opinion, marrying on the rebound just never works out. Of course, Richard was really not very much better, was he? Jilting you after we'd made all those lovely wedding plans. At least Jim's been all faithful, or has he? Oh, I've noticed lots of little things, darling. Nothing that you could put your finger on. But anyone with half an eye could see that that man had something on his mind. After all, darling, when a man has plenty of opportunity and that man is as discreet as Jim...
How would I know what he's been doing? Lying here month in and month out. How would I know?
Well, sweetie, you wouldn't. But after all, it's just Jim, so what does it matter?
It does, Nadine. It does matter. It's a case of pride. All he's ever wanted is my money, really. He's never cared anything about me. It's just been a money marriage. Mine. It's not a very nice thing to admit, is it? But it's true. Nadine, I never told you about that secretary business I found out about just before the accident.
No, darling, but I heard rumors. Now tell me your version.
I came home awfully late for dinner one night. I tried not to show how hurt I was. He was awful.
Hello.
Hello, Jim. It's 9:30.
So?
You're a little late.
What's the matter, Emily? Have a boring day? Couldn't find a pair of shoes you were looking for or something? Or you just want to make a scene? What is it?
Of course I don't. I don't want any argument, Jim. I was just hoping for an explanation, that's all.
An explanation from me? I was expecting one from you. What is it? What's bothering you?
Please don't be like that. It's just that your hours seem to have been getting longer and longer lately. Or is it my imagination?
It's very simple. I had to drive Miss Sloane home. It was raining. She was waiting at the bus stop.
I see.
She was a heck of a good secretary. What else do you expect me to do?
Well, I thought you might have phoned me. I was worried. Or perhaps you find Miss Sloane more attractive.
Yeah, perhaps I do.
Oh, Jim, how can you say such things to me? Surely you owe me a little consideration. I have tried to help you.
Your money, you mean? You're bringing that up again.
No, I didn't mean that, Jim. Really, I didn't mean it.
Well, don't keep bringing it up.
He hit me as hard as he could.
Jim? Hit you?
I could have killed him. Killed him.
It's another 15 minutes before dinner. I'm for another round. How about you?
What?
A drink.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Jim, for the past few weeks, you haven't exactly been with it. You want to talk about it?
I've been doing a lot of thinking about Emily.
I see. Well, of course, it's none of my business, but Things haven't exactly been rosy between you two, have they?
No, Si. Things have been going wrong for some time.
Well, forgive me, Jim, but Emily is a spoiled woman. She's had everything she's ever wanted, everything her money could buy.
Yeah, that's one of the problems.
You mean she won't let you forget that it's her money?
It all started about a year and a half ago, just before the accident. Emily, I simply drove her home. She's a heck of a good secretary. What else could I do?
Don't lie. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to make a choice between your little secretary and me.
You're talking like a child.
Don't you dare speak to me like that. If it hadn't been for my bank account making your law practice possible, you wouldn't be where you are today. And don't forget it.
You never let me forget it. Not for 1 minute. Don't you forget that the only reason I didn't want to marry you in the first place was because of your money. Letting a woman foot my bills was not to my taste.
But you did, darling.
Yes, I did, because you gave me an ultimatum. I'd have lost you otherwise. And I was in love with you. I've been paying your money back over the years, Emily. Next year, the whole account will be straight.
Oh, isn't that nice? That's so nice. So that's the only reason you even attempt to come home now, is it? Our marriage is just a bookkeeping arrangement. And when you've paid up all your nasty little IOUs, off you go. I've been very convenient for you, haven't I?
Well, stop talking like that. You out of your mind? Are you sick? You must be to say things like that.
Don't dismiss me like a child. I'm going to tell you something else, too. I've never needed you. Never. You've needed me. And I hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate you.
She kept screaming at me.
Hate you.
All the way up the stairs. I could hear her screaming at me. I loved her.
If I died tomorrow, Nadine, he'd be completely happy, I'm sure of it.
Jim? Oh, no, darling, you can't mean it. Not Jim.
But I've made certain of one thing, though. He'll never get a penny of my money. Never. I've made certain of that. I've left everything to charity.
Well, darling, you couldn't have made a wiser move. But, Emily, I'm worried about you. You sound so morbid. Jim should never have gone out and left you tonight. You shouldn't be alone.
Oh, if only Si hadn't given the party that night. At least now I'd have some chance of escape. Can you ever imagine why we were celebrating our anniversary?
Well, I must say you didn't appear to be having a very good time.
I've never dared tell you this, Nadine. But I was scared of him. That's why. Scared to death of him.
What?
And then when we were driving home in the car, I knew why I was so scared. Please, Jim. Please don't drive so fast in this weather. I'm nervous.
I'm not surprised after the way you behaved tonight. You made a fool of yourself in front of everyone. And of me.
That's not fair, Jim. Why did you have to deliberately humiliate me by hanging onto the Carson girl all night?
Well, why shouldn't I have a little fun? What are you going to offer? Nothing. As far as I'm concerned, Emily, you're a failure.
Failure. Thank you, Jim. So I'm a failure, am I? You're so right. Of course, what would you want with a failure? I just feel I don't want to live, Jim. I might as well throw myself out of the car.
Well, go ahead. Go on, Emily. Go ahead.
No, Jim!
Go on.
No, Jim! He wanted me to jump. He wanted me to die.
Emily, how horrible. I can't believe it.
It's been a year and a half since the accident, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Look, Jim, we've been friends for a long time. You've never really told me what happened that night.
Well, on the way to your party, Emily gave me my anniversary present. She told me she'd never loved me. I knew she meant it. You remember how nervous and tense she was all evening? Well, after we left your place, it got worse. In the car, she became hysterical.
Must you crawl? Can't you drive any faster?
I can't go any faster in this weather.
How dared you deliberately humiliate me in front of everyone? Hanging on to that Carson girl all night.
I've danced with her a couple of times. Good heavens, Emily. I've known her since she was a child.
Well, she's not a child any longer.
What difference does it make anyway? After you told me tonight that you didn't love me, that you never had. What's happened to our marriage, Emily? There's no sense pretending that it isn't a complete failure.
So I'm a failure, am I?
I didn't say that.
I'm a failure. Thank you very much, Jim. That's very funny. You're so right. What would you do with a failure? What do you want with a failure? Well, I'll show you what a failure I am. I'll throw myself out of this car.
Emily, stop it. Stop it.
I'll show
Emily,
you.
stop it.
Let go of me.
Leave go of the door.
I'll show you
Stop
what a failure I am.
I was responsible for the accident.
Well, no more than she was. You better stop brooding about it. Look, I'm going to level with you. We've lost 4 important clients in the last few months, and it looks like we're going to lose another one. Winters called tonight, and he's very unhappy with the way you're handling the union building transaction. Look, Jim, let's forget about this dinner, huh? We'll go up to your place and you call Winters, talk to him. I think maybe we can put that deal back together again.
I'm sorry. I guess I have been letting things slide lately. This thing's been driving me crazy. I know that Emily's a sick woman.
Well, Jim, on that point, we both agree. Waiter, may I have a check, please?
It's been a nightmare, Nadine. A horrible nightmare. I've had to lie here month in and month out, watching him pretend to be the loving husband when I know how he really feels, having to put up a front myself. Sometimes I think he's trying to drive me mad, and he knows how sick I am. Oh, well, Nadine, you know how sick I am, don't you?
Darling, I know how sick you are.
Oh, if only I could escape. If only Richard hadn't gone out of my life, I'd be safe now. I lost the only man I ever loved, Nadine. I was a failure, and I lost. Do you understand what it means to feel you're a failure?
It must be dreadful to feel that way, darling. Absolutely dreadful. You must go through absolute misery.
I could have been so happy with Richard. I had everything to offer him. Why did he leave me, Nadine?
Now listen to me, Emily. You didn't want to leave your home and go live with him in another state. Now, darling, you must admit that.
But I wasn't cut out to be a doctor's wife, Nadine. Richard could easily have gone into father's business. We could have been divinely happy. Why, he'd have been a very, very successful man by now. Don't you agree?
Yes, darling, I do, but he wanted to be a doctor.
Put your coat on a chair, Si. Help yourself to drink.
All right.
I'll go up and see how Emily is.
Oh, Jim, just a minute. You were going to call Winters, remember?
Oh, yeah, so I was.
To this day, Nadine, I know that he wishes the accident had done the job. Then he'd be free of me. Free to do just what he wanted. Standing by, watching me rot. Rot. He hopes. But he's paying for his cruelty. Day after day, he's facing his wretched guilt. I've seen to that. All this time, I kept him chained to me like a dog. Just like a dog. And I intend to keep him that way till the day I die. Nadine, you're the only person I could ever tell. But I can walk. I can walk quite well.
Haven't you?
I have been able to for some time now. Really.
What is it? What's the matter?
If you don't believe me, why don't you drive over now and I'll show you. Nadine? Nadine, are you there?
Yes, Emily, I'm here. I'd love to come over and be with you, darling, but I'm afraid I've lost my car keys.
Nadine? Nadine? Operator?
You'll have to excuse me, Si. Let yourself out, will you?
Well, sure, will you? Good night.
You're home early, Jim. Didn't you have a good time? Because I couldn't have stood being alone here if you hadn't been enjoying yourself. You did enjoy yourself, didn't you? Rutherford called after you left. She said her car had broken down. I've been all alone here.
It's been quite a time since the accident, hasn't it, Emily? It's been a strain on both of us. I'm sorry if I've been bad company at times. But then so have you.
What are you saying?
Had a talk with Dr. Michaels this afternoon. He said it was no good calling in another specialist. He said that only Emily could help Emily. What do you think?
Michaels is a fool.
Is he?
Then what's the matter with you, Jim?
Get up, Emily. Get up and walk. You've been able to walk for some time, haven't you? And all the while you've kept me chained to you like a dog.
How can you be so cruel? You'd like to kill me, wouldn't you? You'd like to see me dead, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't, Emily. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm leaving you, and I'll never look back. But before I go, I want to see you walk. Get up. Come on, get up out of that bed and walk. Come on, I want to see you walk. Come on.
All right, go ahead, kill me. Kill me, but you'll never get a penny of my money. Never, never, never. All right. I'll show you. I can't feel my legs, Jim. I can't feel them. Jim, you gotta help me. I really can't move.
It's too late, Emily. You've been crying wolf a long time. It's too late now.